Bicycle Bootcamp. Wednesday on News Channel 10, working for you at 6. Do you have what it takes? Local police officers training to be two-wheeled crime fighters. And News Channel 10's John Carlin joins the force.
I'll be exhausted when I get to the top, but I still got to shoot. If I miss, I fail.
Will he make it? A week of sweat, dedication, pain, and endurance. News Channel 10 is working to show you a whole new side of local law enforcement. Wednesday on News Channel 10 at 6. Your heart pounds, your legs ready to give. When you get there, the challenge begins. Can you nail a bad guy? Thursday, News Channel 10 is working for you at 6. Bicycle Bootcamp, survival of the fittest. News Channel 10's John Carlin gives it his best.
A bike can actually catch a car by going cross lots. Right now, we're learning how to go cross lots.
How did he do? See for yourself what it takes to survive Bicycle Bootcamp. Thursday on News Channel 10 at 6. Bike cops, not what you thought? Tonight, News Channel 10 is working for you at 11.
You never see what most bike cops do because it happens at night.
Drug charges, crack cocaine charges, weapons charges, any type of driving, radar offenses.
And we're literally watching drug deals go down.
What does it take to be a bike cop? News Channel 10's John Carlin knows. Cheer one intense week of training, hard work, and unwavering motivation. Tonight on News Channel 10.
Bike cops. When you see these officers riding around, you have no idea what they have to go through to earn this ride and what hard work it is. John Carlin went through it with the officers. Now he's got a police bike and quite a story to go along with it, right, John?
Sure do, Leanne. This is one of the bikes used by Roanoke City, and if this light right here is flashing, or if the officer on this bike blows a whistle at you in your car and you don't pull over, you're resisting arrest. That's just one of the things I learned in September when I spent a week in Bicycle Bootcamp. Before officers can learn how to do their job on a bicycle, they must endure some time in the classroom. John Carlin, Channel 10. Like the real officers, I learned quickly this would be no easy week.
No gimmies. We're going to give you all a lot of knowledge in a short period of time.
It would be hours and hours of classroom time, and even more on the bikes. In the next 5 days, we would learn to ride up the stairs and down the stairs, sometimes several flights at a clip. We learned to ride super slow through very tight spaces and at breakneck speed on the highway. We also learned how to slow down in a hurry. For a dose of endurance, we rode to the top of Mill Mountain.
It is tough, rigorous. Oh my gosh. It is, I expect it to be this tough. I really did.
Instructors showed us the ins and outs of cycling off-road, and for good reason.
A bike can actually catch a car by going cross lots. Right now, we're learning how to go cross lots. Think on your feet.
Officers learned the proper way to approach a suspect in a public place and how to catch him on a bike if he runs. For me, it was more difficult to know what to do once I caught him. Other lessons? We learned how to fix a broken bike, how to ride at night, and that no matter how careful or how skilled you are, there are going to be some serious injuries. The toughest test came on the last day, a hill climb at top speed, then shoot the bad guy.
We want to push you to your limits out here so you can understand when you get into a situation, you know where you're going to be, how you're going to react to the situation.
To say it's hard is an understatement.
Go! Go, man, go!
I don't know if I got words. It's hard.
Scale of 1 to 10, it was off the scale to the top.
5 days, dozens of falls, 2 trips to the emergency room. A grueling gauntlet for these officers that they actually signed up for. People keep asking me if any of the injuries there were mine, and actually they weren't, but on one of those emergency stopping exercises, I did go over the handlebars. Fortunately, the sergeant caught me, plucked me right out of the air, so I didn't get hurt on that one. But bike officers do ride between 10 and 20 miles on every bicycle shift, and many times more than that on their days off. just so they'll be in shape when they get out there fighting the criminals. Leanne?
When you see an officer on a bicycle, you might think, he's got an easy job, but think again.
Yeah. Before that cop gets the chance to test his mettle on the pedals, he has to survive bicycle boot camp, which is a week of intense and punishing training. How do I know? I took the class. Except for me, everyone in bicycle boot camp is a police officer. Cops who believe the bicycle is a legitimate crime-fighting tool. Community policing? Sure. But beyond that, a sneaky and fast way to catch bad guys unaware. Carol Ann Curry is a super fit 49-year-old officer, nervous about the class, but anxious to take drugs off the street.
We get a lot of suspects on bikes because you just can't hear a policeman coming up to you. They can observe from a very secretive point of view, point of position, and sneak right up on people, and they don't even know they're there.
Good job, John. Smooth. You're smooth.
The first thing we learn is how to go slow, really slow, without falling off. Some of these cops haven't been on a bike since they were teenagers. They say you never forget, but this is learning all over again.
Holding on, man, holding on.
If going slow is hard, going fast and climbing hills is nearly impossible.
They work the recruits really hard here at Bicycle Boot Camp so that when they get in a real-life situation, they can do it even if they're tired.
Day one, and the instructors ram us up hill after hill. Every time we get to the top, one officer throws up. By day two, the difficulty and soreness are sinking in. Officer Ricky Sutherland is using a disposable diaper for padding.
These seats hurt so bad, I just figured I'd get a diaper from my son and put it in the crotch of my pants to make the padding a little soft.
Another day's endurance exercise, a race up Mill Mountain. If you put a foot down to rest, you have to do it again.
Come on, Mr. Meyer, that's a good job. Get on up there.
It was the same rule when they trained us to go down the stairs at the Civic Center, even when they added 2 extra flights. The Explore Parks trails showed us how to ride off-road. Skid stops on a soccer field, a good way to take a man down. Also, a good place to show us how to talk to a suspect.
It's been a nice night for it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You here watching soccer game tonight?
Yeah, I was thinking about going over there.
You got a child who plays soccer?
No, I just like sports.
And what to do when the suspect takes off. By the time I was starting to feel like an actual officer, it was Friday and the toughest test of all. A lung-busting hill climb after which we had to shoot a bad guy, all against the clock. The test will determine whether we can push to 100% and still have enough left to deal with a deadly situation when we get there, something that happens more often than people realize. One after another, we are urged up the hill by screaming instructors. So tired, some can't ride all the way to the top. But thanks to training, the shooting is instinctive, and most hit their mark.
Oh, gosh, it was a killer. At that point down there, I didn't think I was going to make it up there.
I don't know if I got words. It's hard. If you've never done it before, I don't think you could do it because you're totally on automatic. There's nothing left.
It was with those words echoing in my head that I took my turn.
I'll be exhausted when I get to the top, but I still got to shoot. If I miss, I fail.
I was the last to go. That morning, I'd fired the Glock 6 times, the extent of my training. An experienced cyclist, I made the hill just fine, but my legs felt like lead. I shuffled onto the range, trying to remember how to unholster the gun without shooting myself in the foot. Steady, shoot, reload, run, shoot again.
All right, here's where the rubber meets the road. How'd I do?
You did great, John. I was very impressed with you. You know, you came in here with a lot of skill, but you did have the most important thing that a bike officer needs. That's heart. To get out here and work hard every day, to give it 110% and not give up. That's one thing you didn't do. You didn't give up on us, and you gave us 110%, and you did great.
So officially, for the record, I passed.
Yay.
Still more to come. Tonight on News Channel 10 at 11, we'll take you along with the bike cops and show you how they bust drug dealers and handle serious situations, all from the bike. When you see a police officer on a bicycle, you may be thinking it's the latest attempt to put a friendly face on crime prevention, the city's way to take down barriers between police and you. And to a certain extent, that's true. But as I learned during a week with the officers going through bicycle boot camp, bike cops really get after the bad guys. It may not be what you think, but this is a typical night for Roanoke City police officers on bicycles. Here, they take down a man wanted for assault with a deadly weapon. And that's just the beginning.
You never see what most bike cops do because it happens at night.
During our week of bike cop training, one session is devoted to night riding. A good thing, since more than half of the time bike cops spend riding will be after dark, when bad things happen most, and when an officer on a bike can roll up without being seen or heard.
Drug charges, crack cocaine charges, weapons charges, we've had plenty of those. Drunk driving offenses, any type of driving, radar offenses.
We're also out here in the middle of the night without being detected by the criminal element, and we're literally watching drug deals go down, and we have the ability to come in and take drugs right out of their hands.
408. On a recent ride-along, they proved it. A bicycle bus. The evidence, cocaine in the suspect's pocket. In fact, Roanoke's Bike Patrol has already lodged 59 drug charges this year.
The inside lane black car, 46, right here.
They've also stopped dozens of speeders and 19 drunk drivers.
Okay, let me see your license registration.
Though this vehicle stops for the officers, some run. Most of the time, only to be caught by a skilled and physically fit cop on a bike.
If they're after a car and the car fails to stop for them and takes off from them, a bicycle can go across lots, they can go through alleyways, they can go through wooded areas.
That's why bicycle boot camp is so rigorous, why we spent hours improving technique riding tight circles around cones, down the stairs, and over curves, and why we went to the Explore Park to ride off-road, and why instructors pushed the pace every day till our lungs felt they would explode.
Run that bike!
The fact is that Roanoke, with more bike officers than any other city in Virginia, is taking the role of the bike officer well beyond public relations.
It could happen any given night. And we go out, we ride with the bike officers 3 or 4 times a weekend, and easy, 3 or 4 times that weekend, those officers have to respond to a high-risk call.
Under the cover of darkness, taking drug dealers and other bad guys off the street and taking risks you never see. And there's more on WSLS.com. Just click on the Carlin Chronicles, and you can even take a quiz to see if you would make it through Bicycle Boot Camp. I do want to mention photographer Tim Hess handled the video on these stories, and right now what you're looking at is, well, I'd like to thank the police department first of all for giving me the chance, but to prove I passed, what you're looking at here is the certificate that I received at the very end, and it's got the little seal on it and everything.
Official.
And this is an official 40-hour class, and it was an interesting week.
And as you mentioned, all of the others were actually police officers.
Yes.
You were the only civilian.
That's right. In fact, as far as I know, I'm the only civilian ever to take the class in Roanoke.
That's great.
So it was nice of the guys to let me in, and they were a little uneasy about it at first. Some of the officers didn't know I was going to be there. The media showed up, but it turned out okay.
Yeah, you're a good guy after all.
It was all right.
All right, going after the bad guys. Well.